I really hope you're well. So, as promised at the end of January, this is the end of the month update video. Could do one of these at the end of each month, but you'll be seeing this on Friday, which is the first of the month, which means that I wouldn't have put an update video out in February at all. Oh well. It is actually the end of the month when I'm recording it. It's Thursday today, and we are going away tomorrow, which is today for you. We're heading off to Cirencester Park, and we're going to take this thing with us, aren't we? We're coming with us, aren't you? We're going to Cirencester Park. He loves it there, and he hasn't been in this caravan yet, so we thought, well, let's combine the two. Let's get him in the caravan, introduce him to it, see what he thinks of it, and take him to his favourite place in the whole wide world, which is Cirencester Park. Even when we don't camp there, we visit Cirencester Park because he adores the park up there. So that's where we're heading off tomorrow for us, today for you. And I'm aware that there's some changes which have taken place in Cirencester themselves, so we're going to see if we can document some of that and capture that for you whilst we're away. But being an update video, let's go through some of the things that I've written down that I want to talk to you about that's happened over the last few weeks. So just a few comments that I've picked up on some of our videos over the last few weeks, and there was a few comments based off of our trip to Morton-in-Marsh, where we had a bit of an issue with our heating, where the glycol level had dropped, there was an airlock in the bathroom, etc, etc. We managed to resolve it and it was all sorted. Few people said that the PDI should have picked up on this, and the PDI should be aware that there was an airlock in the system. They didn't test it correctly, the PDI was rubbish, blah blah blah. I'm going to put my neck out here and say actually the PDI was perfectly fine, and I know that for sure because we were in storage here from December until January, and whilst we were packing the caravan and whilst we were sorting things out and getting used to where things are in the van, we turned the heating on, and I can guarantee you that heating towel rail in the bathroom was actually red hot. It didn't have an airlock in the system whatsoever. So something happened between us from being from storage to travelling up to Morton-in-Marsh. When this was in having its air conditioning fitted and the rear view camera installed, I did ask them to double check the heating system in the caravan. I made sure that they went through all the pipes to make sure there wasn't a pinhole prick, because that was my initial thought, that there was a very small leak, a very small gap where it was sucking air into the system. I was wondering if that was what was happening. They had a good look around the system, they had a good look through the radiators and all the joints and all the fixings, and they've told me that there's absolutely nothing wrong. A few other comments on the back of that Morton-in-Marsh video were basically asking us how we're getting on with the 8-foot wide caravan. Well, that is a video that I am going to create because there's a number of things that I want to talk about. Travelling with it, towing it, what's it like? Is it really that much noticeable? What's it like manoeuvring it compared to a quite narrow single axle caravan? What's it like getting it back into storage? And generally, what's it like living with a wider caravan? I'm going to do that in a future video, so keep your eye out for that one. So a couple of weeks ago, I asked you for some questions and answers because I wanted to put that into this video because I was a little bit thin on the ground of stuff I wanted to talk about. Now I get lots of questions, I get silly questions as well, and that's usually what happens. I get some nice, decent, noteworthy questions that should be asked, and I also get stupid questions like, you know, how much wood does a woodchuck chuck, and, you know, other stupid nonsensical things like that. So that didn't happen this time. I actually got quite genuinely a lot of questions, and some excellent questions as well. There are way too many questions to answer in this video. So as I mutedly thought of in that video, I might just do a separate Q&A video where I answer a lot of the questions. Or would you prefer it if I was to do short burst videos over the next 4 weeks or so, where I answer 2 or 3 questions, and I'll put in the notes the questions that I'm answering, so you can quickly see whether it's something you want to watch or not. I'm thinking I might split them up because there is some really lovely questions, and if I have shorter videos, I can answer the questions a bit more. So let me know your thoughts below. In today's video, I'm going to answer 3 questions which I wanted to answer, and yeah, let's head off and let's start answering some of those right now. Now you're going to have to bear with me on this one, because one of the things I forgot to bring with me today was my reading glasses, and I'm reading them off of my phone. I can make out the questions because it's bright enough. Let me just up the brightness a bit more, but I may get your name wrong, but I'm going to put the question on screen anyway, so please bear with me, okay? This one is, hi Dan, can I ask you what made you choose a Bailey rather than a Coachman, Swift or Luna? Hope you're well, best wishes, Ian. Ian, that's a great question actually. It was actually down to what made us buy a Bailey was the Luna. Back when we had our Luna caravan, we loved that. I really loved that caravan. I still love it, and I still miss it actually. That caravan was everything that we wanted at that time. And when we were looking around, the only one that we felt special in, and I think I documented a whole caravan buying process, the only caravan that made us feel special, made us feel relaxed, made us feel at home, was the Bailey. It was purely based upon how it made us feel. We had that sort of fizz feeling when we sat in the Luna all that time ago, that first day when we actually went out for the very first day, and I remember it. I was sat over there, Angela was sat here, and we sat there and we played that fantasy game that, I don't know if you do it, but we do it, where we imagined that we were in Devon. We were parked in this beautiful location just off of the beach. The children were playing on the beach. There was lashings of ginger beer. It was, you know, it was literally a page turner out of an Enid Blyton book. And we played that game in our head and we was like, this is absolutely fantastic. The day was warm anyway, it was quiet, and it was just so relaxing. And we get exactly that same fizz in this caravan that we do now. We did look at other vans before we did consider this one. We did look at others. We looked again at the Swifts. My dad was a Swift nut. He always had a Swift when he was a younger gent. He doesn't now, but he's going back to a Swift in the next year or so. But we sat in them, and I just couldn't get that feeling. Nice as they are, lovely as they are, I just couldn't get on with them. It wasn't for me. So that's why we didn't go with Swift. The Coachmans were way too expensive and way too heavy. So we didn't go down that route. Adria, can't stand them. That was it really. That was the reason why we went for Bailey. Okay, so this next question, there's a few people who have asked this in various guises, but I'm going to read this one out and I'm going to answer it. Hi Dan, I've just bought an EcoFlow River 2 power bank, and I'm wondering if I can connect it to my caravan via the hookup lead to charge the battery off-grid and power the 230 volt sockets when off-grid, thanks. Right, yes you can. This caravan right now, as we sit here, is being powered by my power bank, which is outside. So this is what our setup is. We have the power brick outside, and you can see I've got the air conditioning running at the moment on heating. It's at 815 watts of power which is being pulled out. It's at 50% at the moment. And then the cable I made up is one of these plugs off of an old electric hookup cable, and then I just wired in this cable here, which was actually an old kettle lead which I had lying around. I just cut the end off and wired it in. You can buy those leads anyway, you don't need to make them yourself, but that does power the caravan, and it doesn't matter whether it's the anchor or the jackery, they both do exactly the same job. One lasts a little bit longer than the other one. This one lasts a little bit longer. With the air conditioning on and everything running on it, it lasts about an extra half an hour than the jackery. So yes, you can. The great thing about those power banks, be it the EcoFlow, the Anchor, the Jackery, whichever one it is that you choose, the great thing about it is that you can clearly see how much battery you have, how much consumption you're pulling, and obviously it will probably tell you on the display how much life you have left in it and how much longer it will last. Okay, this is another really popular question actually. Hi Dan, your comments please about the best type of awning peg for hard standing pitches, screw in versus hammer versus jump hammer, impact drill, etc. You know, we have wasted a lot of money on various different awning pegs, and the best ones that we have come across are the rock pegs, I think they're called, and they're very cheap, they're very affordable, and they just do the job. And really all they are, they're just a ruddy great long steel peg. And how we get them into the ground is that we have a very heavy steel lump hammer We don't use a rubber mallet anymore. We have a steel lump hammer and we drive those into the ground, and we get into most hard standings. Fair enough, a few of them may not survive and they may buckle, but they do go in and they do hold. For getting them out, we use the same mallet and we whack them to the sides 3 or 4 times just to loosen them, and then we pull them out with a peg extractor. On grass pitches, we use those same pegs because they do just as good a job. They're probably the cheapest type of peg you can possibly buy. I'm going to put a link to the ones that we have in the description down below. It'll be an affiliate link. It costs you no extra, but it helps the channel. Click on those, have a look at the pegs that we actually buy. And we have got a Sainsbury's bag of life full of all of those pegs, and we've got the plastic ones as well that we've got with the awnings that we had, and we've got the cheap rubbish hook type ones that you get with many awnings. They are rubbish, don't bother with those. But for all the years that we've been going, we've just been using steel pegs, which I think are absolutely fantastic. Now, this question has been asked before on a number of occasions, but I'm going to answer it now anyway, and this will be the last one I answer today. What are your thoughts on Safefill bottles, the availability, refilling stations, and whether you think the initial investment would be worth it in 2024 to any new caravan and motorhome users? That is a great question, and the reason we have never ever invested in Safefill is because the initial outlay far exceeds the usage that we would ever get. If I had done it way back in 2014, I think about 3 years ago it would have been a good investment for us to do. I did look into it a couple of years ago, but around where I live there is a huge black hole of places that you can actually go to fill it up. If I wanted to buy a Safefill bottle and go and fill it up, I have got a 75-mile round trip to the nearest place that I can fill it up. And sadly, it sounds like that place is actually going to stop allowing you to fill up LPG bottles on the forecourt. So that would really screw us over big time. The fact is, we use about one gas bottle a year, and we just don't use gas that much. The only reason we use gas is when we're off grid, to use the fridge, the heating, the hot water and food. And when we're on site, the only thing it is used for is the CADAC, and everything else runs off of electricity. We have absolutely no need to go through that much gas. We just don't need to. Everything else here in the caravan runs off of electric. We have a hot plate here. We had a hot plate in the last caravan. If we wanted to use the oven, sure, that runs on gas, but pretty much everything else runs off electricity. So we don't go through that much gas, and really it wouldn't be cost effective for us to do it, because the price of the investment, the initial setup, is hundreds of pounds. And I know you can fill a bottle up for a tenner or what have you, but well, I pay about 26 quid a year to fill up my gas bottle. Well, to swap the gas or the Calogas bottle over. So for us, it's a non-goer. It really is. I know other people who use a lot more gas than us. They have already invested in it and it works for them. For us, it just will never work. So that's the reason why we don't do it. What can you hear? Is there a man out there with a tractor? There is, isn't there? Yeah. It's hard to think he's 12, you know. No, 11. You're 12 in a few months' time, aren't you? Yeah. And he hasn't been coming away with us for a few trips now because, well, Chloe likes to have him at home because she enjoys the company, which is fair enough because, you know, he's our family dog. And you do look after Chloe a lot, don't you? You love her to bits. So this weekend is different, though, because he is going to be meeting an internet celebrity, we think. And I suspect you'll be covered in mud. I suspect you'll bring it all into the bloody caravan. I suspect you'll be a right state. Yeah. Anyway, he's now settled down again. So thanks very much for watching, everybody. I'm going to be filming us going away today for you. And I'll be sharing our experiences. I'm going to try not to make it so samey as the last one, like this is us, this is what we do and what have you. I'm going to try and focus on different bits of the trip. So please do watch that one. That'll be coming out next week, and I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching today, everybody, and I'm going to be watching the comments here to see what your thoughts are about the Q&A going forward. I'll speak to you very soon. Take care now, everybody. Bye-bye.